Welcome to the Coach and Crew Show. I am your host, the Coach Charlie Krause. With me, as always, is the man they call Tantor. We're talking college football. Media weeks have begun. It was the Big 12 who got us started. And I'm going to preface by saying I'm an SEC homer, and I also have some new loyals in just west of Myrtle Beach. So with that, when I say I'm a true fan of the Big 12 unbiasedly, and I just enjoy the competition top to bottom, I mean that sincerely, and there's no hidden agendas of which team I really root for. So these past two days, when I watched every single head coach's press conference, I was really intrigued. But Phil, here's where I want to start with this real quick. The new commissioner came out and he said two things.
Conference composition is once again at the forefront of college athletics. As such, I have been very involved with the stakeholders both inside and outside the Big 12 regarding our path forward and opportunities to grow both the Big 12 brand and business. One thing is for sure, there is no doubt the Big 12 is open for business.
My take on that is, okay, we're going to expand and we're ready to bring in new blood. The second thing he said is,
but in any situation like this, I always look for a win-win scenario. That being said, it's important that whatever happens is in the best interest of this conference.
To me, that means pretty much Texas and Oklahoma, when this season's over, we're going to do our best to get you out and bring in the new blood immediately. Phil, how are you? What are you hearing? What are you feeling about the Texas and Oklahoma situation?
Well, from what I understand, I'm an ACC guy, and looking at it from afar, I look at it as the Big 12, they're setting pretty. They're in a good position. They did the best they can. They grabbed the best four available programs in the country that were out there and jumped on them and added them to the conference and said, hey, we're not going to let Texas and Oklahoma decide things. From what I understand, Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 had an unequal deal, i.e. Texas and Oklahoma got a bigger share of the revenue pie than the other schools.
Conference composition is once again at the forefront of college athletics.
And you can't run a conference like that. You cannot have a conference where you have one or two teams control everything. And other schools could probably see an increase in income with Texas and Oklahoma leaving because they're taking an inordinate large share of the pie.
Football side of things. The one thing I love about the Big 12 is, unfortunately, I don't see any of their teams being the top 2 or 3 in the nation. Maybe outside of Kansas, I think everybody has got themselves a good potential winning season at minimum, where you don't know who's going to beat each other. And unfortunately, I mean this is a positive, they're all going to beat each other up. So the Big 12 champion realistically might not make the top 4 this year. That's too bad.
Big 12 throws out some good football. And when people are looking at, oh, wow, they're losing Texas and Oklahoma, I say, who cares? Texas and Oklahoma aren't even the two better teams in the Big 12. Texas hasn't won, well, what did I say, 2004? Sound right? Oklahoma, they lost their coach. They've lost their quarterbacks. I mean, they're completely rebuilding. This league is got some top teams there. You got Iowa State, Baylor, Oklahoma State. I've even seen where Texas Tech launched this big, massive campaign to upgrade their facilities and stadiums where they're spending a crap load of money. They're adding BYU. BYU's playing Baylor like the second game of the season. That's going to be a heck of a game. I'm kind of excited for the Big 12 season this year. But truly, the most fun thing to look at the Big 12 is their off-the-field stuff. They have a real opportunity to jump in with the Pac-12. I mean, wouldn't you like to see the Big 12 and the Pac-12 merge?
Oh,
and do a West Conference and an East Conference with them?
How awesome would it be when you see
fantastic. It'd be great basketball too. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, we're both basketball guys also. Big 12 basketball is incredible.
Oh, it is. And Baylor,
and so is Pac-12 basketball. Yeah. I would love it.
The past 2 national champions have come from the Big 12. But I can't wait for this, a cross-country matchup of the sport cross-country where UCF has to travel to Seattle, Washington for a cross-country or field hockey event. That's going to be funny.
Go for it. Just go for it. All right. You have gotten
Chips
rid
in.
of the kings that have been running the thing for the last century. You got that out of the way, get those schools out of the way, and the sky's the limit for the rest of the guys that are left.
It's a lot of parity, and it's a high level parity, and it makes for a fun watch on Saturdays for me personally.
When you say healthy, we have to get good quarterback play. Good quarterback play is we need to give him some protection, and we need to rush the ball successfully. Obviously, we had a fantastic year on defense last year. The majority of that was we were able to put pressure on quarterbacks.
I'm going to find our best 11 players. I'm going to get them on the field, and we're going to score a lot of points.
We're 50 days away from the backyard brawl, the return of the backyard brawl, 19 days until we have our first practice. It's been a productive offseason. Staff adjustments on offense, highlighted by the addition of offensive coordinator Graham Harrell.
Obviously was the amount of games that he has played at Nebraska, but if you get around Adrian or you visit with Adrian, the first thing that jumps out at me is his maturity.
In the end, when you focus on the team aspect first and knowing that, hey, if the team does well, that means everybody is eating. Everybody's getting their opportunities. And when
you know what, these young men and some of the guys that are here with us today have gone through multiple head coaches, not just one or two. Some are on three. Some have had, Earl Bostic Jr., our offensive tackle, has had at least 8 position coaches. And that's not normal and really not fair.
I think for us, we really haven't deviated too far off of what's built Iowa State football from year one that we got to Iowa State to where we are today. We said at the beginning that we were going to build our program on trust.
Look, you can go back to my time when I cut my teeth as a GA at Kentucky. As Mike Leach's GA, Hal Mumme was the head coach. Tim Couch was our quarterback, became the first pick in the NFL draft. And then it went from there. You look at the quarterbacks that we had at Texas Tech. I went to Arizona as an offensive coordinator, had Nick Foles, went on to become Super Bowl MVP. Went on to Louisiana Tech, had tremendous success with Colby Cameron, set 16 NCAA records. We just had a lot of guys. And went to Cal, had Jared Goff, became the first pick in the draft at Cal.
But this year, this version of the Oklahoma Sooners 2022 Team 128 will comprise of 40% of our roster will have never put on a Sooner jersey in a game before.
We continue to focus on what we're doing daily, how we're doing it. I think it goes back to just the task within a task.
Like and subscribe. Tell us what you think about the Big 12 and what you're most looking forward to this year. Thanks for watching.